Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Midway and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I sure am. So today we're back again with some more Legend of Mushroom and we're going to be talking about a very exciting piece of news. We are getting a new class in Legend of Mushroom, so we're going to be checking out everything about it. Not sure when it's going to be coming out, but we'll learn everything we can about it. So yeah, just letting you know there's going to be an event starting tomorrow, right? So if you're interested in participating in that event, of course, the usual gacha, check out Aptoide. I'll talk a little bit more about that later and how you can get a lot more value for your money with it. So now let's get into the video. All right, so here we are in the Japanese wiki, and this is the new class. It's called the Beastmaster and the Bonemaster, right? So we're going to be seeing a lot of information. I think this might be Chinese or Japanese, probably Japanese, given that it's Japanese wiki. But as you can see, we have the progression path that you can expect as regular with any other class, right? So you'll have your level 30 choice, then you'll have multiple choices now, specializing between Beastmaster and Bonemaster, depending on which one you choose to go to, and then level 100 you unlock a new skill. At the level 120 with the Ascension you will be able to evolve your ultimate skill, right? So let's read a little bit through it. It's a whip-based job or class. They call it job with Google Translate stuff on this website, right? So its detailed status has been added to all companions, right? So this is going to be coming also with a big change to pals, right? So we'll see why that is the case and how it's going to affect everybody, right? So we're going to be checking the change to the pals as well as the skills and everything about this new class. So there's no special condition for changing jobs, so just as usual you can just go ahead and change your job by using signed diamonds. The weapon is going to be a whip. As you can see, it's either a bit of a spiky whip or a lasery whip. And there's going to be, of course, a lot of new skills, right? So Bone Spirit Master job-specific skills include many allies who have not yet been implemented in Japan, so they might be a little bit difficult to understand, right? So yeah, let's first go ahead and check out the skills, and then we'll talk about the new stuff for the pals, right? So this is sort of what it looks like. I'm not sure if it's using a costume. Most likely it is, right? So let's read through the skills. The active skills is the following. Before the awakening, whip of 10,000 pills, 9-second cooldown, and it's going to be summoning a wolf, dealing a big bunch of AoE damage, which is going to affecting everybody hit, as well as increasing the damage taken by the allies for 60% for 5 seconds. That is a lot, actually. Taken by allies, which is weird. I'm not sure how that is supposed to be working. I'm assuming it's there's a damage taken increase onto the enemies, right? So whoever is an ally of that affected will be taking the 60% increased damage. I'm sure that's just Google Translate stuff. But yeah, I'm assuming it's just going to be a debuff that's going to be increasing the damage taken by the enemy. Nevertheless, once we awaken, that is going to be pretty much doubling in damage, as well as increasing the cooldown by quite a little bit, but it's also going to be adding the effect of having that debuff, the 60% increased damage taken for 8 seconds instead of only 5, and also making it so that all your companions, meaning all your pals, are going to be ignoring enemy evasion for 10 seconds, right? So again, a lot of pal focus. So let's check out the passive abilities here. The first one is going to be number of companions you can bring +1. That means you can have a 6th pal with you. That is already a massive change, and let's see why that is the case. So level 30 you also get increase all allies base attack speed by 0.1 and ignores evasion by 10%. So it's buffing your pals, your allies. Increase the critical rate of all allies by an additional 25%, that's at level 60. At level 80, increase all allies damage coefficient by an additional 20%. And finally, every 10% loss of health increases ally damage by 4%, right? So whenever it's saying ally, it's referring to the pals because, well, those are your companions. Those are the only things that fight alongside you. It might also increase your clone's damage if you're using a clone. I'm assuming that will count as an ally. But it might also work with other people you're playing with, for example, during the raids or even during the latest dungeon that was added, the tower, right? So that might also affect your actual ally because it's also an ally. But again, this might just be a matter of Google Translate, right? So that is the Beast Tamer version of things. Now let's move on to the Bone Spirit Master, which is the other specialization of this class, which here we will have the following change. Of course, it's going to be having the same active skill at the beginning, right? So it's not changing anything. As you can see, it's pretty much the same. Once you awaken, the difference is going to be the following, right? So we can read it. 10,000 bones souls is going to be dealing the same amount of damage, every damage for the same amount of cooldown. It's going to be also applying the damage taken debuff for 8 seconds, and then allies, normal attacks, and combos have a 40% chance of dealing an additional 1% of the target's current HP lasting 8 seconds. So you have a choice between the max HP kind of damage, so there's a 40% chance of any of those attacks dealing quite a meaningful amount of damage. 1% of max HP could be a whole lot, or you could also go for the ignore evasion. Now, there's also other differences, of course. The last 3 skills will be different, right? So let's read through them. The first 2 are going to be the same. Increased number of companions you can bring +1. And the second one is going to be the same one also as well. Increase the attack speed of your allies and ignore the evasion of the enemy. But then the third skill is going to be increase the effectiveness of all team members by 20%. Whatever effectiveness really means here, I am not too sure. If it's a buff to all stats, that is insane. I'm assuming that's not the case. It might be something along I really have no idea, to be fair. If anybody knows kind of what that means, let me know down in the comments. Now, the fourth skill is going to be gain additional effects based on the race of the first 2 companions in your party. So that's the new addition to pals, which we'll talk in a second. It's going to be races of companions, right? Excuse me. Each effect can only be acquired once, right? So there's going to be a list of effects down here. We'll check them out in a second, right? So the additional effects based on the first 2 companions, I'm assuming it's going to be the 2 leftmost in your pal, you know, panel where you put them, like where you choose them, where you choose your build. So the first 2 will be the 2 leftmost ones. And then the last one, depending on the number of allies of a certain race in your party, you will gain additional benefits, right? So it's going to be a buff for having the 2 first kind of pals selected, and then there's going to be a buff depending on how many of a certain race you're going to be having. So let's check out that, right? So let's go back first here to the new status added to all companions, right? So status has been added to all companions, included limited ones, which seems to be a little bit more of a stat breakdown. I'm not sure if this actually works in-game right now. Like, let's just go ahead real quick here and check out one of the pals and just see. Yeah, of course, you can see there's not really a breakdown of their stats. You have your, of course, overall effects that are applied to you, and there's also the active, the effect when you deploy the pal, but there's no all these stats, right? So we have damage multiplier, satisfaction, whatever that is, probably like happiness, combo, which is multiple attacks, ignore evasion, attack speed, critical damage, and multi-attack coefficient. So yeah, one of those is combo and the other one I'm not sure which is. It's probably going to be counter. Nonetheless, yeah, we have a lot of stats onto pals. I'm assuming pals are also going to be a lot more impactful, since they're going to be able to do a lot more damage, given that they are now going to have some more stats. In any case, you can see we right now have damage multiplier, which seems to be along the sides of the same. Not sure if the level really would make a meaningful difference here. And the attack speed seems to be just along the same lines, so we just get a little bit of crit, combo, ignore evasion, maybe counter, and whatever satisfaction is, right? So we got those stats onto pals. And we are also going to be getting the races, right? So depending on the races we get, we're going to be able to get into any of these different effects. So for the level 80 skill, we're going to be able to get the following passive skill effects, right? So depending on what you have. If the first companion in your team is a cat, cactus, octopus, dragon, or eggplant, your attack power will increase by 15%, okay, so 15% more attack, given that your first companion has to be one of this. So the next one will be if your companion is either a chicken, bird, lizard, banana, or spirit, your companion will get attack speed. So this is yourself who's getting the attack, and then this is your companions who are getting the attack speed, right? So there's a difference there once again. If the first companion in your party is a demon, panda, deer, turtle, or fox, your overall team's health will increase by 15%, very powerful. If your first companion is a snow spirit, snail, dog, or toothpaste, your overall defense is going to be increased by 30%. And finally, if the first companion you organize is not any of the above races, it's going to be increasing all party attack and all party vitality by 5% and all party vitality by 10%. So you can choose whether or not you want any of these buffs. You can just go for more overall attack, more attack speed on your pals, more overall health for everybody, more overall defense for everybody, or a little bit of a mix, more attack, health, and defense, right? So you can just go ahead and choose which one might be best. Honestly, I'm not too sure just looking at these stats. Maybe straight up just 15% more attack. Of course, that always looks insane. Now let's look at the level 100 passive effect, which is going to be, once again, depending on however many of a certain type of race of pals you're going to be having, right? So let's read the effect. I don't really care too much about the name of the effect, of course. If you have 2 or more companions of the same species, and they are chickens or snow spirits, when they use a skill, they will deal an additional 2% of the target's maximum HP in damage. If you have multiple companions, only one effect will be applied to companions of the same species, right? So I'm assuming if you have like 2 different tiers of the same pal, like for example having 2 sprites, you just have like the lower tier version. I'm assuming that will not work, and that's what I'm reading here. If you have multiple companions, only the effect will be applied to one of them, right? So you can like juice them up, you can have like 2 chickens and 2 snow spirits, and then you can only get the benefit for one of them. Not sure if they are also reworking the way pals actually buff you, so that you can like stack up different types of pals, or actually different tiers of the same pal, and that's going to be adding up all the buffs. That's not how it works right now. Only one of them can actually affect you. So that's also a thing that I don't really know too much. Now moving on to the next one. If your team includes 2 or more allies of the following species, cat, demon, fox, spirit, or spirit fox, there's a 30% chance they will deal an additional 2% of the target's max HP in damage when you use a skill, right? So again, it's either the pals are going to be using a skill, or you are going to be using a skill, and then if it's 3 of the same, there's a 45% chance of dealing again 2%, right? So yep, you're enticed to get the most out of that. Moving on, if the team consists of 2 or more or more allies of the same species, I'm not gonna read them all. The multi-attack power of all allies will be increased by 10%, so maybe combo or counter, not sure which one this is, but it sounds like combo, of course. And if it's 3 of them, it's going to be increased by 15%, right? So you get the drill, you get 2 of them, you get a little bit of a bonus, you get 3, you get 15%. Not sure if you're going to be able to just get like maybe 2, 2, 2, right? So you can have 6 different pals, so you're going to be able to benefit out of the 2 bonus from these ones, the 2 set bonus for the other 2, and finally the 2 set bonus for the other 3, or you can just go 3 and 3, right? I'm assuming that's going to be how you combo these things together. So you can get a little bit of combo increase. The next one is going to be a little bit of crit hit rate increase, and that's going to be on you and your allies. So that's going to be for everybody. You will have just more critical chance, basically. It's going to be 10 or 15% again. The next one will be your teammates' normal attacks and combos have a 30% chance of recovering 0.2% of their max HP. So they have HP now. If your team includes 3 or more, it's going to be 0.3 of their maximum HP. So it does say your teammates, so I'm not sure if now pals are actually going to be having HP and they can be killed, or if it's referring to yourself as like your pal's ally. Not sure, that sounds a little bit weird. Moving on, you will gain 12% damage reduction at the start of the battle, which will decrease by a third every 10 seconds, or 16%, so just defensiveness. And finally, the final normal attack damage and final ally damage will increase by 1% each second after the start of the battle, up to a maximum of 10 times. So whatever the final normal attack means, not sure what that is supposed to mean, it's going to be increased by 10%, so you basically get 10% more damage on a certain specific attack, and it's going to be 15% for the 3 set bonus, right? So this is how it looks like, a little bit of a showcase here. Before Awakening, all of them are the same job-specific techniques. There's no whip attack motion, only the slashing effect occurs, right? So as you can see, the actual whip is not moving. It's only like there's an animation. And yeah, the way it's actually dealing damage is kind of weird. I don't know if it's like going to be dealing the damage all at like the end, or how that is exactly happening. Yeah, there also seems to be like the genie is taking like 1 damage. I'm not sure yet exactly how this fair is going to be to the real thing. So yeah, you can organize up to 6 companions. As you can see, there's going to be all of this stuff you can actually put together. So look, this is definitely looking very interesting. A lot of effects you can come together with. You can put up so many combinations, have 3 sets of 2 pals each, and get the most out of the level 100 effect. If I'm reading it correctly, you can also get 3 and 3. You can also choose what buff you want out of having the first kind of position chosen correctly for your pals, and then just having 6 pals is going to be a whole lot more interesting for just specifically this one class, of course. Otherwise, we don't really care too much. And then the PAL sort of rework, which they might just be a lot more powerful for everybody, but of course, that's going to be benefiting this class in particular a lot more, right? So there's going to be able to put together a lot of stuff, just being able to buff your PAL damage with the proper souls, with the proper stats, and just putting together a build which will allow your pals to shine a lot more. And of course, relics will also be a lot more powerful since your pals are going to have more damage and more stats. Well, those relics that buff your pals will also be very beneficial, right? So once this comes out, we'll talk more about it. We'll see what builds are good with it and just compare it to whatever else there is in the game. Nonetheless, that's pretty much all I got for you today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So before you go, please go ahead and check out Apptoid. As I mentioned today, actually tomorrow there's going to be an event coming out, right? So yep, the event of course will come together with a gacha, and whenever you're participating in those gachas, you want to just be able to get whatever you want, of course the final rewards, the artifact, the mounts, and the costumes or whatever, just by spending less money in total, because there's a chance you might just get it in the first pool. There really is, right? So how you can do that? Well, is basically by using Aptoide, right? So Aptoide is just like Google Play. It's a platform where you might download apps from, right? So you can just go in there, get Legend of Mushroom, download it from there, and once you start Legend of Mushroom after downloading it from Aptoid, you're going to be prompted to pay through the AppCoins wallet, which is a separate app which you will also need to download from Google Play or whatever. This, by the way, only works on Android and an emulator on your PC. It doesn't work on iPhone, I'm sorry. But basically the thing is, whenever you are making these purchases, when you play the games through Aptoid, you're going to be able to earn cashbacks for however much money you are spending, right? So depending on the bonus you have accumulated so far, which can go from 10% all the way up to extra 35% of what money you're spending, then you're going to be getting those bonuses. And then you can use those bonuses instead of your real money to make the purchases for you. And you can just get those things for free, really. You are just really not spending your own money or your real money. You're spending the bonuses you accumulated, so you essentially just get more value for your money when spending it, right? So you can increase that bonus by doing things like, for example, using my code, which is going to be down there. If you use it, you're going to be helping me out massively, as well as getting a flat 5% increase on that bonus, making it a 10% bonus from the get-go. Then you can also increase it by doing more things like, for example, accumulating more purchases, which you can track the progress towards unlocking higher bonuses within the AppCoins wallet, which I mentioned you also need to download. There's going to be a guide, by the way, on how to set it all up down there in the description. So if you got any questions, drop a comment down below, and also check out that video on how to set up Aptoid on your phone. Excuse that. So here, of course, you can track your progress towards unlocking higher bonuses. You can also see if there is any active events going on within the AppCoins wallet here, the app itself, which will increase that bonus for a limited time for up to 10%, right? So it might be 5%, 10% for like 24 hours. So whenever you're making purchases in those games specifically, you're going to be able to get even more value for your money for a limited time. Here, you can also input my promo code by clicking in there and just typing it in there. That's going to be increasing that bonus from the get-go, as I mentioned, by 5%. Also helps me out a lot. And here, of course, you can see how much bonus you have currently accumulated. You can also top up your wallet right here instead of actually making the purchases at the time whenever you want in the games. That's also going to be giving you the bonus right away if you do top up. And then in here, you're going to be able to see your purchase history, right? So that's pretty much all I got to say about Aptoid today. Any questions, of course, drop them down below in the comment section. Check out the guides down there, the link in the description. And of course, please go ahead and use my code if you're going to be using Aptoid going on forward, right? So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the new class, everything in between. Hopefully it comes out soon. Definitely looking very exciting. It's going to be a big rework to the game, right? So yeah, first new class coming to Legend of Mushroom. It's going to be insane, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. See ya.